Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to another episode of A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I appreciate you for joining me. Please, before I get going here, let me not forget to ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. Channel's been, we've been kind of getting a little lower views than usual, so I don't know what's going on. But like, subscribe, share it with somebody so that the algorithms know, man, this is content you want to see. I appreciate y'all, man. But we, as you can see, I got my man, well, not my man, I don't know him, but we got Diddy up in the corner here. I don't know anybody at this point. I know I found out, yes, well, based on this recording of this tape, it was yesterday, that I found out about the video that I'm sure CNN is the first person to force network anyway to play it, of Diddy. In the video, he is obviously dragging and kicking Cassie in a hotel back in March 2016, which is interesting because if you go back, earlier this year, Cassie dropped a lawsuit against Diddy that was quickly settled. I don't remember if they told you the amount, but I know it was quite a few $1 million that they settled for. And one of the incidents that was mentioned in her lawsuit is the particular incident that is being shown in the video. And so, of course, at the time, he denounced everything in the lawsuit, said that none of that was true. And, several months later, here we are. We've got at least evidence of one of the incidents that she described in her lawsuit. And so, to my surprise, Diddy addressed it. And so that's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch his video addressing the video that got released.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
All right, so there it was. There's his apology. But let's talk real quick. Just gotta have a quick little conversation. So obviously he did what he did. Well, I guess you have to say allegedly because he hasn't been convicted of anything, but most people with eyes would say that was Diddy. So, and the apology video is all but an admission that was him in the video. So, but here's the question a lot of people have been asking. So one of the questions is, what does this mean now? Some people have been talking about his demise as a result of this. Others are discussing the concept that Cat Williams had mentioned at the top of the year, right? This is the year of truth. A lot of people are going to get exposed. And so certainly this falls in that category of being exposed for different things that you've done in the past, if you will. Things are coming to light. in this case. And so as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking more about what does it mean moving forward. And that video gives me more of an indication of what I think is going to happen moving forward. So number one, if there were pending charges related to that video, because I'm sure he's consulted a lawyer before he made his little Instagram video. So if there were pending charges, I don't envision him making the apology video to say he's sorry for his actions. Okay? So the fact that he made the video admitting that that was him and he apologizes for those actions, that says to me that at least at the moment, right, there are no charges that are pending. And the admission even almost suggests that he doesn't expect there to be charges pending from the video. Because if you did, why do you admit guilt before millions of people? And then you might even argue, well, he don't know if there's charges, so that's why he did the video. Okay. But again, I assumed a man like that consults a lawyer before making that video. And I don't see any lawyer worth their salt saying, go ahead, admit your guilt, before they know that this guilt isn't going to come back to hurt their client. So I'm skeptical of that concept of there's pending charges on the way. When you look at the other issue, right? A couple months ago, he had his house raided, right? Well, we haven't heard anything about that. This may certainly seems like it may fall in line with some of the reasons as to why they are looking at, or this video maybe came to light. But I'm still skeptical of what may come of this, being that the way that he's moving does not indicate a man who's running from anything. It doesn't even indicate a man who's on the what's the word I'm looking for? Because what it makes me think of is I'm thinking about Russell Simmons. And you saw the moment that Russell Simmons thought things were getting too hot. Russell Simmons made a move to get out of the country. And so I'm looking at Diddy gallivanting around the country as a man who, sure, he may not be, partying up in terms of what we might think he's doing, but he certainly doesn't seem to be limiting his movements. He seems to be doing whatever it is that he wants to do. So I'm skeptical about whether or not charges are coming. And the last thing that I'm going to say is this reminds me of the problem with, I'm going to call it society. Because this video obviously happened on hotel security, right? This is not Diddy's video. This is hotel security. So that means that there were people who watched this video, and then for what I can only assume, I'm assuming that there was an amount that was given, decided that we understand. Don't worry about it. This isn't going to come out from us. And if it wasn't an amount and this was just done on we understand, it lets you know, or serves as a reminder of how much shady stuff is going down and nobody is talking about it. and people are brushing it up under the rugs. And so I'll say again, like I said with the whole when I heard about R. Kelly, bad people will do bad things, but it's the good people, or at least the ones that like to pretend like they are, who, for whatever amount of money they were paid, for whatever reason they give for not telling the truth, who sweep these kinds of events under the rug. And then, when it comes out to light, they'll be the first person to talk about their experience. Because it didn't happen to you. It happened to her. Because you didn't want to be put in the spotlight. You watched it happen to her. You kept your mouth closed. You maybe cashed a check, or maybe you just stayed quiet. And now that it's out, I can only imagine there will be at least one or two people that will speak the truth now and want credit for telling the truth. When to me, if you were as good as a person as you thought you were, you would have told the truth then. And maybe, like he said, maybe this was a bad day on a bad moment, and this was only one time. But a man that does that to a woman, when he assumes, well, maybe he thought about the camera, maybe he didn't. But anyway, in that moment, it was her and him. And he very definitively let her know in that video that I run this. That was that time. But there's other times that we haven't seen yet. And so shame on him for only acknowledging this because he had to. And shame, and bigger shame, on the people who have been watching these incidents and others, because this doesn't happen once. Sorry, I don't believe this only happens once. So shame on those people who've been watching this event and others and have kept their mouth closed. Quite frankly, I don't know what's going to happen to Diddy as a result of this. It's my speculation that nothing's going to happen to him as a result of this. But I could be wrong. But shame on those people who watched these incidents and others and kept their mouth closed. Because, and I know there are going to be some in the community that rally around him and want to offer up a protection and quote unquote not let these people take this black man down, if you will. Because that conversation, I'm sure, I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Shame on y'all too. Because if we are not going to be honest in our own community about the predators in our own community and want to seek justice for those who have been abused by the predators in our own community, miss me with the conversation about bringing others to justice that are outside the community. Miss me with these conversations about bringing justice from the government when again, yes, the government may be a bigger entity. And I get that that's a different level of abuse, if you will, for those of you who think the abuse is being committed. But that's the problem. If you can't catch the single abuser, how would you ever expect to catch the larger one? You don't go from the outside in. You go from the inside out. And that's how you clean it up. Because you can slap paint on it and make it look pretty. But if you haven't cleaned the inside, it's still a dirty house. And so before we get to going and calling everybody else about well, what they ain't talking about, let's talk about this house. Let's talk about what should be done to clean up this house. And when we clean this house, we can get back to the other houses. But clearly, there's a problem. And on that note, I'm B. Period, and I'm out.